Virtual Grip Network and the Bootleg Racing League welcome you to the Grand National Series presented by Gargamel's Kitchen for the start of a brand new season. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside the booth tonight is Marty Sakawa with the producer Daniel Handover as we get ready to go racing at Nashville Fairgrounds. This track has had a lot of history in this series, but tonight it's a chance, Marty, for drivers to prove what they can do.
Absolutely.
Especially with the new chance to see what they can do with the new season.
Yeah, Justin, you just brought it up. Brand new season, new chances for all the drivers. The drivers have had a couple of weeks off to refine their craft on the short tracks. And the big question is, can anyone stop J.R. Shepherd, your defending champion?
Now let's take a talk about this racetrack. Nashville Fairgrounds has been on the service for about a year or so, and today is iRacing Day in Sim, just past 8 p.m., with very cool track temperatures below 70 degrees Fahrenheit, as well as the air temperature. But this racetrack, Marty, has brought some intriguing racing where it's not easy to make passes, but it's also very easy to make simple mistakes in the matter of either looping it around on a corner exit off of turn 2, or bumping somebody up the track and in towards the wall in turn 1.
Yeah, you and I talked about this in pre-race, Justin. Last time you were in the booth, this was a hectic race when Justin Morton won his first ever race. This was a race that was difficult to pass. You know, there's going to be multiple grooves. The middle to lower groove is going to be pretty much the dominant racing line. However, though, it is very easy to dive bomb, try and send it in on the entry of a corner. And it's really easy. These cars it's so easy for these cars to lock up on the brakes and get really tight on the entry that you can dive bomb into someone and take them possibly out of the race.
Drivers are running in the midst of their final moments of practice, but it is worth noting J.R. Shepherd led the session with the only time of the 18-second bracket in 18.992. Matthew Thunhorst, Jason Menda, Tim Janowski, Brian Dean, though, were all separated between a month and another. 1/100ths of a second, and that was only just about a tenth or two behind what J.R. Shepherd did between Thunhorst and Shepherd's times. Now, it's time to see how this new season fares out. Let's take a look at how the inversion has shuffled things about, as the top 8 in-series tradition is inverted from the previously held BRL Grand National Series event. That means Todd Liston will start on the pole, had done so the previous time here. This time, looking for a bit better success rates here. Last time finished a lap down. Kenny Kippy starts in second tonight with Brian Dean and Mike Hallway third and fourth. Row 3 features Austin Belke, who had a strong run here last time, and James Lowe. The defending winner at this racetrack, Justin Morton, starts in 7th, with J.R. Shepherd, your defending champion, in 8th. Dipchinowski, Ruben Altis round out the top 10, Marty.
Row number 6, you've got Joe Segala and Jeffrey Harden. In the 7th row behind them, Adam Sean and Matthew Thunhorst. Keep that in mind, Thunhorst did not race in the championship finale at New Smyrna, so he is starting from the rear of the field. In the 8th row, Jason Menda and Mark Herzog. Row number 9, Chris Wolfson and the Professor John Hine. And in the caboose of the 19-car field is Lowell Jewell.
That's all talked about, Matt. Your running order for tonight's action here on Virtual Grip Network. I'd like to remind you at this time as well that this series is brought to you by title sponsor for this campaign in Gargamel's Kitchen. As we get ready for the brand new campaign, let's talk about said title sponsor for your campaign. As for tonight, a success to continue on your partnership. As this pace lap continues on about, we'd like to remind you that Gargamel's Kitchen is a food-grade nitrous oxide provider located in Denver, Colorado, and a proud sponsor of Bootleg Racing League. Visit their office at 2045 South Valentia Street. Give them a call at 720-707-6178. Your keys to victory tonight, Marty, for the brand new season. A chance to start off on the right foot.
Yeah, I think the biggest key for me here, it's really easy to burn your tires and use up your brake rotors. So I think for a lot of drivers here, they're going to take it really early with the brakes as they come into not just turn number 1, but throughout the entire night. You don't want to go too heavy on the brakes as well, because if you go too heavy, it could possibly get the rear end out from underneath you. Justin, I'm ready to go green. How about you?
I am too, but the drivers are the main point. Are they ready? Yes, indeed they are. Green flag is out. We're underway for a brand new season. And a good start for Todd Liston, but a better start for Kenny Kibbe. Kibbe keeping it side by side for the entry to turn 3. Trying to get the run of the 87, but can't. Single file, Todd Liston starts off the season with the lead lap, but a bobble out of the corner.
Yeah, something you got to be careful about with the ARCA cars in general at any track is you don't want to use too much throttle on the exit. Too much throttle can get that car sideways, just like what Liston did. Kibbe had a chance to go around the outside, and that almost worked for him considering how smooth that second groove is, but here comes Dean on the bottom, Justin.
Ryan Dean looking very strong early going, trying to the bottom side, but look who's also strong right behind, J.R. Shepard. Trying to make a poke underneath the 9 machine, but can as well. Driver settling back on down. Behind that, you have the 79 of Adam Shane, who's already around the 11th position, looking to move up into the top 10 already with a strong start for the 79 machine.
Shepard, we should mention earlier, just had the quickest lap of the race at a 1936 until we crossed the start-finish line when Liston took it away. Starting to open up a little bit of gap on Kenny Kibbe, about a half second behind, but Shepard inside on Austin Belke for position 4. Shepard, the biggest mover of this race so far, from 8th to 4th in 4 circuits.
See that just up the road, Shepard indeed has passed by the Different Path Motorsports machine on Austin Belke. Up that +4, also +4 Jason Mendo. And it looks like for Austin Belke keeping it very calm early on. That's been one of the critical parts in this track's history in the series, Marty. Saving the tires is key because the differentials on the track can become massive the longer the run goes with no tire changes in this series.
Yeah, the Nashville Fairgrounds is a very abrasive track on iRacing. I can't recall, man, how long it was the last time this track actually got a repave. But when you're on board with the race car, if they're on the bottom side, watch them closely. I think the car behind the 81, Adam Shawn, just used the bottom side of the racetrack. It's very bumpy there. That can really lead the car to start to bottom out, especially in the center of the corner. So watch that closely too tonight.
Yeah, keep in mind this track has had a long history. That this facility originally opened in the 1900s, in fact, but in the talks to become a part of NASCAR competition, the rear road in the next few years or so.
We got one in the wall, and that's the leader.
Todd Liston, yes indeed, your race leader, put himself in the wall down the backstretch. Liston, with significant damage, is letting everybody go. Liston has a problem. His right front tire is busted.
Yeah, the right front tire is flat, and that is the side effect from the new damage model in iRacing. The right front valence is completely on the bottom of the car. The pulse hitter, Justin, his night is done early. I can't believe it.
And usually you see in some circumstances the tire may pop on based on some of the iRacing physics. That didn't become the case there, Marty. That's one of the first times in a long while that tire did not get itself settled down. Liston dragging it all the way to the pit lane. Absolutely huge as we look at the battle for 17.
Yeah, I'm taking a look.
Lowell Joel is loose.
That's a close call for Lowell. I was actually about to say I did take a look at the replay and what happened to Liston. He got a quick repair through iRacing, and what happened was he actually scraped the wall on the exit of turn number 2 and was riding the wall for the entire back straightaway and just couldn't get the car to turn. That's when the right front tire just said, kaboom, caution is out.
And it's Jeffrey Harden with the first caution of the season. He was running in 18th position, and that's exactly what we're talking about. Caution's out. And our first spinner at Nashville.
Taking a look here, and Harden was just all by himself. Oh, he did the same thing that I talked about earlier. When you have the throttle on the exit, that car just came out from underneath him on the rear end, and around it went, just touched the front end into that inside retaining wall. But other than that, I don't think really any issues to Harden. That puts him to the back early. Here's the replay.
Yes, indeed. Let's take a look at your Bootleg Racing League and Virtual Grip Network replay. This is what happened to Harden, and you can see carried a lot of speed in the first place into turn 3, and then a lot more speed off of 4.
Yeah, again, that's really tough to do that with ARCA in general. That's why they put ARCA in D class in iRacing, these Grand National Series cars, just so you can learn throttle controls. That's always a key for those interested in iRacing as you try to make your way up to C, B, and A class.
So coming up to 86 laps to go this time. To reset, Kibbe is your leader now. The lucky dog is Todd Liston. That was very lucky at the time of the caution, we'll say, for the 87. Brian Dean's in second. Shepard, Morton, Belke, Shanowski, Lowe, Segala, the top 8 currently. But I'm keeping my eye on a couple drivers here, Marty, that we haven't talked too much about. Matthew Thunhorst, who's been absolutely dominant the past 2 seasons, but hasn't gotten a championship yet. He's on the bottom line, starting 11th for the upcoming restart in the next couple laps.
Yeah, I think that's where you want to be for the restart. When we went to that double file restart, the low line, as when we watched Liston, he pretty much had the advantage there on the bottom. Kibbe took a chance on the outside. However, though, with Brian Dean just getting his nose underneath in the center of the corner, really led Kibbe back in terms of momentum.
Let's look more in depth in this issue with Liston, because it's very easy if you end up losing focus or tying things up down the straights or losing sight of said walls to end up getting stuck with the rear end or getting your door stuck like this.
Yes, absolutely. And again, the side effect of newer damage. Something else I think as well, when I think the wall may have changed a little bit, may have decreased the width of the track width. So I'm not too sure if that is also a possible cause of that. I know in other previous tracks, like if you have the safer barrier enter into turn number 3, like for example Indianapolis, that can be a nail biter too.
It definitely can be. And speaking of racetracks, why don't we talk a little bit about the upcoming schedule, Marty? Because
yes,
there are some tracks that are in the midst of its rotationary periods with some of the racetracks. For the asphalt schedules this season, Nashville starts off the campaign, then Hickory ends up being the second race. Langley, Five Flags, South Boston, Southern National, Myrtle Beach, Lanier, Martinsville, Irwindale, the second to last race on March the 12th. New Smyrna continues to be the traditional finale. Pretty decent balance of tracks this season, with tracks like Hickory staying as well as tracks like Irwindale coming back on in as well.
Absolutely, a variety pack of short tracks for the short track commoner. And it's going to be awesome to see what happens this season. I think what I'm really looking forward to the most is Southern National Motorsports Park. I call it Bristol on steroids. Here we go, back to green.
And the bottom line catches everybody sleeping. Shepard up to second. Brian Dean passed and dropped to third, but Justin Morton wants that spot. Morton with the good pull on the outside. Morton goes on the goal line. Nearly hits Shepard on the entry as Austin Belke tries to pass Dean on the outside as well.
Yeah, Morton got a great jump, especially off of turn number 2. Used that banking to his advantage as Kibbe is pulled out by about a car length and a half on Shepard. Morton and Dean still going to work down that back straightaway. And the draft from Morton as well off of Shepard. That little slipstream. Oh, there they go.
Dean has spun around. Tim Shanowski makes contact. Caution is out. Ruben Alti spun at the back of the pack in the aftermath by Chris Wolfson. We're under caution for the second time tonight. Part chain reaction for the secondary part of it, Marty. But the first part, just completely snapping loose, was that Ricky Craven throwback.
Yeah, absolutely. The car, I think, was just a little bit too heavy on the brakes and maybe possibly the left front suspension may have caught the bottom of the track where it's a little bit bumpy and just sent that car a little bit sideways. The 07 of Shanowski nowhere to go, but props to the other drivers for missing it up on the outside. That wreck had disaster waiting to happen, Justin, like a big one was about to break out, but only just 3 cars are involved in our second yellow of the race.
Here's a look once more at the onboard. This is with Brian Dean you're seeing. Yeah, just snapped it around. Great car control, but just no space to be able to fully save it with the wall there, but also a car's coming.
I think the car was just maybe a little bit too heavy on the brakes. That's what I noticed. I did a little bit of a test drive before we were in the race lobby. I noticed that when I was a little bit heavier on the brakes, and I'm a guy that has load cell pedals, that car would just start to snap, and you'd have to try and catch the slide. And right there, Dean just did not have enough time to catch that.
We're under caution once more. I'd like to take the time to remind folks as well that throughout the evenings, BRL action does have action on Fridays, but also Saturdays prior to the premiere part of the card. Earlier tonight for Saturday night action, the late model and Tour Modified series both started off their campaigns. It was Kenny Kibbe who won in the late models by 0.2 of a second over J.R. Shepard at a 3-caution affair. Meanwhile, Shepard, in turn, in a 1-caution race in the Tour Modifieds, won by more than 5 seconds, Marty.
Shepard pretty much put on a whooping. When I saw your tweet, I saw that gap, and I'm like, holy moly. Shepard's going to be the one to watch out for. He's got the outside for this restart now. He's just going to have to try and find out when Kibby fires when we come back to the green flag. Pace car is about to come into pit road.
77 to go this time for the season opener for the BRL Grand National Series presented by Gargamel's Kitchen. Kibby in control of the field. Shepard in second. Morton and Belke. Top four, Low in fifth. Off and away we go. Kibby with a good launch, but Shepard keeps it nearly side by side for the entry. A late break for the 98. Keeps it to the edge of the 14's door. Kibby, though, gets the better run down the back.
Oh, I just saw a spark come out off of turn 2. Shepard may have clipped the wall, but he's probably okay. And Shepard got a little bit tight in the center of 3 and 4. Morton wants second. Meanwhile, Kibby slams the door. Here we go. This is about to get good.
And it looks like Kibby wants the fight to start for second, and it is starting for second. Morton now side by side loses some ground. Lowe joins the fray. And guess who's here? It's Matthew Thunhorst, who is also in the midst.
There
Lowe
goes the
spins
99.
it.
Whoa, can he save it? No.
James Lowe did
No
save
caution.
it. No caution. We stay green. James Lowe did save it, Marty, by locking it up, but the problem is he didn't go sideways enough to trigger the caution. Oh, this is while third is fighting.
That is maybe one of the best saves I have seen in short track racing. Yes, at the same time, he did make a great save, but now the question is, how are the tires and how are the brakes with how locked up they were?
Lowe is now in 19th for reference. Belke, meanwhile, getting the better pull on the Sonoma, California-based driver. But as mentioned, some of the battles are separating things out. Mark Herzog with a big save in the next pack on back. Joe Segala and Jason Menda nearly 3 wide as a result. As here comes Menda battling with the 81.
Yeah, Justin, I think the tires are starting to come out from underneath the drivers. Got to be very careful on the braking and the throttle points, the exit of these corners. It's really starting to bite back to some of the drivers right now. You know, we've had maybe 20 to 23 green flag laps at the moment, and Herzog is in trouble early. You got to give credit to him, though. Up 9 positions from 16th spot. He may have already used up his tires and started off a little bit too quick.
See that side by side still, and Herzog again loose. In and out Burger Machine slides up and nearly doors Menda as well as Tim Janowski joins the fun as well. Still side by side as this continues to get slipping slidey.
Herzog was dirt tracking it off of corner number 2. Meanwhile ahead, Thunhorst edging out Belke for third position by just about a door. And he's actually closing in, I believe, that J.R. Shepard was identical to 1941. And they were both faster than Kibby, who had a 1943. The battle for the lead coming in a couple of laps from now.
Would that be the case, though, is the question. Thunhorst has to close up a second or so to get up to the leader. Kibby is still leading by 3/10. Meanwhile, Adam Shane still battling along with Morton. Keep in mind, Marty, there were 2 drivers who changed their numbers during the offseason. The 66 is now Mike Hallway. The 79 is Adam Shane.
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't really have a big effect on the drivers themselves. It's pretty cool to have a number change possibly for a little bit of luck. And hopefully it helps them out a little bit better. Behind Belke, Shane is looking inside on Morton for 5th position. Shane started from position number 13. Couldn't get the drive off the corner compared to Morton, and so the 9 holds on to serve.
Now the rhythm game starts out. Right now the leaders running 19.5s, majority of the field in the 19.6-7 bracket. Some of the drivers in towards the rear end of some of the groupings in the 8s. Here's a look at Tim Janowski for reference right now in the 10th position after being involved in that last caution. Now has the viewpoint of the 57's late break method.
Absolutely, definitely got really close to the 57. Herzog may have about locked the brakes up. I don't see the brake rotors glowing up there on that number 57. I think he's got a Kia Optima on that front bumper. Dirt tracked it again off of turn number 4. He's in trouble early, Justin. Herzog is in trouble. Janowski's got a peek.
And Mark Herzog nearly puts himself on the wall. Tim Janowski backs it up as a result. On single file. Speaking of that battle for the race lead, you predicted it might heat up in a few laps, right?
Yes,
Matthew
I did.
Thunhorst is within half a second of Shepard already. That was 1 second difference between him and Kibby a lap ago. It's down to half that.
Shepard, I don't know if he made a mistake last lap because he lost a 1/10 and a half. And now Thunhorse has closed the gap. He's the faster car on the track by just about 100th compared to Kenny Kibbe. This time at the line, Kibbe had a 57 over Shepard 62 and Thunhorse 59. It would really depend on the average speeds of the past 5 laps to see who really does have the better car at the moment. I would say give it to Thunhorse.
On the way towards the rear end, James Lowe after his half spin, still trying to pick up spots. Jeffrey Harden, of note, has now exited the race as the first DNF as of a couple laps ago. Lowe is now up +2 since that incident to 17. Last time by the stripe with this battle going on with Chris Wolfson.
I'm continuing to watch the Herzog-Shinosky battle. Shinosky hasn't made a pass, even though he is the better car than Herzog. I wonder if he's trying to pressure the 57 into a mistake as well, because the 57's car definitely very tight in Herzog. Something else I'm noticing, if you watch closely in turns 1 and 2, the way they are arcing in the corners, they are entering just around the second groove, getting past the bumps, and exiting on the lower groove to give themselves a better drive on the back straightaway.
That has become a lot of drivers' preferred line to be able to save tires, but also make sure they don't hit those referred to bumps, snap it around, or end up sliding up into the wall, cooking, say, the right front tire. And that seems to be the trend everyone's picked up upon, especially with the rhythm game now starting coming up towards halfway in the next few laps or so. Here's a look again at James Lowe. He's now passed by Brian Dean. Lowe is now up to 16th position.
Gotta give him credit. He's definitely edged out on Dean and Wolfson with completely fast machines. But, you know, these lap times went, especially after running inside the top 5, top 10, are they coming back to bite him? I wouldn't say really much, though, because he is running in the race pace. He just ran a 1977. To what the leaders are running, that's just around. Kibbe just ran a 1971. So he definitely is catching up, but likely for James, he's going to need a yellow if he wants to get up to the top 6.
And at the battle going on right behind Joseph Gallant, this is Menda and Herzog once again side by side. They're both up 7 positions, but both of them are starting to get really squirrely. Right there, Menda got loose off of turn 4. Herzog, meanwhile, is looking very slidey for the entrance to turn 1 and 2, and sliding into 2 itself.
Nice save from Herzog. He's able to catch that slide pretty quickly. Shinosky takes advantage of it up on the outside. I told you, he's trying to pressure that 57 of a mistake. That just paid off right there. I don't know if there was a lot of pressure, but I think more of that pressure came from Menda.
And Tim Shinosky going on by after being patient for about 20 laps. Finally, Tim Shinosky back up to where he started, 9th position on the racetrack for the number 07 machine. The leaders, by the way, have started to keep calm at about a half a second differential between 1st and 2nd and 2nd and 3rd. Austin Belke is leading the second train of cars at the moment. The thing is, if you go up to the 24, Justin Morden and Adam Shane are starting to pressurize up the road. The back end of the 24 as well. Belke running 20 flats, the drivers behind in the 19.9s and 8s.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if Belke's used a little bit up too much. If we look at the gap between 3rd and 4th, it's just about 3.4 seconds. So I think it's the drive off that's really helping out Morton and Shane to close in inch by inch. And actually, Shane, the 79, I think he just had a nice little outbreak on Morton and Belke trying to close in. It's going to be tough, though, as we continue this long run.
Here's a look on board the Warren, Michigan-based driver's car. You see just how big that differential is up to the race leaders. Compare that to, say, Lowe. Lots of traffic to navigate, including Todd Liston. This is now the battle for 15th. Lowe is back up inside the top 15. Top 3 quarters, should say.
Excuse me, yeah, remember Liston was one that got the wall in turns 3 and 4 thanks to the new damage model after he rode the wall down the back straightaway. Was able to use that quick repair, but has not been able to regain some ground after hitting that wall that as well didn't even bring the caution out. Battle for, is that for 8th? Yeah, Shinosky and Menda going at it. And keep in mind too, Justin, remember, I know we are halfway through this race, but this is also for an inversion spot, the final inversion spot, which would put the person that gets 8th position on pole position next week.
Even more critically, though, you see on screen, the battle is intensifying for second as well because mentioned Shepard starting to fall off a little bit, Marty. The gap has dropped from about half a second between Kibbe and Shepard to a full second in 5 laps. So Matthew Thunhorst is over the back bumper of the champion.
Yeah, I think Kenny Kibbe is liking what he's seeing in his rearview mirror right now, even though he doesn't care on what he wants to see in his rearview mirror. All his vision is out front. Thunhorst, same thing. Right in front, right behind Shepard. I think for Thunhorst, going to pressure Shepard into a mistake. However, though, J.R. Shepard, though, is the champ. He makes very little mistakes. He's so good at these short tracks on the ARCA Grand National Series cars. If Thunhorst wants it, he's going to have to come and get it. Now, remember this as well. Back from Martinsville last season, Justin, you and I were in the booth that night. These two went at it pretty well, and here goes Thunhorst trying to take a peek inside.
Will Shepard give us some space? No, Shepard will give some squeezes. Shepard with the pull, but Thunhorst with the dive. Thunhorst stays committed to the bottom. Shepard again pinches Thunhorst, and it looks like they are still remembering that reference from last season. Thunhorst responds with a dive.
Oh, man. The drive Shepard had in the center of the corner really worked. Denny Hamlin would approve of this racing because it's just short track racing, friends. They're not even rubbing right now at the moment, and Thunhorst, I think, is going to wait until Shepard makes a mistake. But Thunhorst knows he is faster than Shepard, and if he wants to catch up to Kenny Kibbe, which, speaking of that, the gap is now 1.5 seconds, Thunhorst may have to make his move right now.
Again, down to 43 laps to go, coming up to 42. The differential between first and second now 1.5 seconds. As they settle down for a second, keep in mind, some of the drivers in the midst of the Hornet's Nest for about 11 on back, they're starting to change up their lines, actually. Some of them seem to prefer a higher lane up by about half a lane through turns 1 and 2. You seen Lowe try it? Lowe dives low underneath the 21.
Yeah, it's John Hine, the professor, and almost pinched Lowe all the way down to the apron. And you see Lowell Jewell in that 52 catching up to Mark Herzog for 11th position. But we're really focused on that Lowe Hine date at the moment. Remember, Lowe's got the faster car than all these drivers in the rear of the field. The 57 may screw them up just a little bit. Oh, there they go. Lowell's around.
Caution is out.
Oh, Liston a shot.
Todd Liston from 7 car lanes back says, why not join the fun? We're under caution. A hard hit for John Hine. Liston with significant damage already used the faster pair earlier, and Lowell Jewell also involved after the 52 and the 21 bumped bumpers down into turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking a look at this right now on our replay. If you look ahead of these guys, you can't see it on the screen, but there was pretty much the bumping around a little bit too much from the stack up of the 57 of Herzog. Just sent them sideways. A nice save from Jewell. Got to give credit to him for that. And then Liston with the ARCA brakes on Hine. Unfortunate for John and really unfortunate for Liston. A car that was, remember, from the pole tonight. That's the onboard with Lowell. Great car control from Jewell. A great save.
Had a lot of space to be able to get the save done, but as expected with some of that, Liston and Hine both in to get repairs done. 21 able to take the faster pair, but for Todd Liston, remember, that's not an option with the crumpled up front end. Again, we are under 39 laps to go, coming up to 38 this time by. What has been an incredible start to the season, but now it gets fun for the start of the field, the race lead itself, because as the lights stay on this time, you've got several of your drivers from the championship battle last year inside the top 5. Kibbe, Shepard, Thunhorst, Felke, Morton, all at the start of last season, Marty. We're all in the conversation to win that title, and they're all starting off strong.
Absolutely, and I mean, shifting away from that, I want to take a look at Thunhorst as well, who was in that championship battle too, but remember missing the last race at New Smyrna, pretty much clinched the championship for J.R. Shepard. This was the yellow that Thunhorst needed. In 3rd position, J.R. Shepard's in a completely different lane. Thunhorst, no, he's got the better car, maybe even especially on the long run compared to Kenny Kibbe, and we'll pretty much just follow him unless he's got a car to his outside, whether it be Shepard or Belke when we come back to green.
That was an incredible battle with the championship for parts of last season, but now, brand new season, that means a whole new slate of potential battlings. But also, let's talk a bit about that inversion spot, because 8th position, Tim Shinowski now holds on to that. Here's the thing, though. You have drivers like James Lowe, who were coming up quickly, now going to have a chance to regroup and be close up to a lot of the drivers they were trying to reel in before the caution flag. Shinowski, though, was one of the quickest drivers on the track, not on the lead pack before the caution.
Yeah, Shinowski in 8th position. You're right about Lowe. I would watch him closely. Remember, he was inside, I think, the top 5, top 6 prior to his incredible save. So this was a yellow, too, that he definitely needed.
So 1 to go for the restart. Again, it's Kibby Shepard, Dunhorst Belke, Morton Shane, Sagawa Shinowski, Mendel Holloway, the top 10. And then Holloway looking for a chance to jump up into those inversion spots to have a chance at good track position next time out. Pace car is out. 35 laps to go. We're back to racing from Nashville Fairgrounds.
Ooh, Shepard tried to outbrake Kibby there on that restart. Thunhorst just following suit, but oh, he's got company for 3rd. Belke up there on the outside. Shepard wants the lead. He tries to outbrake Kibby in the corner. Shepard's gonna, I think he's gonna get at the stripe. No, Kibby's got the drive, and it is Shepard.
J.R. Shepard gets the first lap for him of the season. Can he complete the move, though, is the question. Still keeping it side by side, but Matthew Thunhorst wants a chance to follow the moving line. Shepard proving the outside could be that. Thunhorst now dives to the inside. Still side by side, but the caution is out.
Big one. Big one.
It's at the back of the field. It was the battle outside the inversion spots. Menda looped it on a very late break through turns 3 and 4, and the caution is out. I believe it might be Kibby who had the scoring loop.
And it was Menda that got sideways outside of the top 8, and then it just led to a big accordion effect. Jewel and Hine went at it again. Liston kept it on the brakes, wasn't involved. Here's another angle for you here. In the corner, yeah, I think heavy on the brakes for the 45, just sent him sideways. The 23, I think, got a piece of it too. Nice save by the 17. But everything has definitely changed here, Justin, and I think scoring says J.R. Shepard.
Yes.
At the line.
And it would have been by a bumper too. Meanwhile, Todd Liston's night continues to not go well in terms of keeping the car clean. Shades of last time for him at Nashville, taking more damage repair this caution. But as you mentioned, Shepard did get the scoring loop by the very edge of a valence over Kibby, so now the 98 is in control of the field for the first time tonight.
Only thing is now that Kibby is going to have the outside line for this restart. Now the big question is for J.R. Shepard. We know he likes to outbrake other drivers when he is side by side for position because he can hold that ground. This time he is on the inside line. If he's side by side with another driver, he's not going to want to outbrake him, because if he outbrakes, it could lead to a dive bomb and take Kibby out with him. There's a lot of outlooks that we could see here on this restart, Justin. It's about to get interesting.
So we've seen how Kibby's been able to play these starts. How would you play it now if you're Shepard, knowing you have the chance to do something very different compared to what the 14's been doing to put the lead in Shepard's hands? Because for Kibby, he's allowed that window of opportunity each restart for the driver alongside to still have a chance if they go later on the brakes to hold the quarter panel, but they have to work for it. What does Shepard do?
Well, with Shepard, I think at this moment, I would say for him, you got to fire as early as possible as you can and try and catch Kibby sleeping on this restart, trying to lead to the outside line to have that a little bit of accordion effect. If I'm Kibby, pretty much vice versa, got to try and time that restart as much as you can. Stay side by side with Kibby. Again, Kibby's going to have the preferred line off of turn number 2. And then if I'm row number 2, watching Thunhorst again. Now remember, Justin Morton got by Belke for 4th position when the yellow came out. So this could be possibly an advantage of Morton. We've only seen Morton really well on the small runs today. So this restart could have some chaos in the next lap.
Of note, Menda, before previous start, out of the race, He is the second DNF of the night. 28 to go this time. They're starting to check up hard. Shepard off to the gas. Off and away goes Shepard. And that's the best start for the inside line control car tonight. Thunhorst in turn, trying to take advantage to take away second.
Yeah, we expected Shepard fire as early as possible. Kibby's got the drive off of 2. Looking for P2. Thunhorst still putting it in the fight. And now this is what J.R. Shepard wants to see. The drivers pulling away in the rearview mirror while they're side by side. This is still tough to tell who's going to get second off of turn number 2. One guy's got the edge on the entryway, and that's Thunhorst. On the exit, it's Kibby. You see Thunhorst just went up about half a groove here. Kibby's got the edge at the line.
And 26 laps to go, this time by Thunhorst. Still can't get clear of Kibby. Morton is clear for 4th, that should be worth noting. But for Kibby, the Nocturnal Gaming Machine still trying to hold on to the Forge Racing driver to his inside. Thunhorst again, still can't clear, but is up to second at the scoring pylon. Thunhorst with the dive, tries to clear himself, but can't.
You know, something crazy here, too. Shepard is losing time to this battle for a second. You don't see that a lot in short track racing. Shepard, I think, is maybe over-braking at the moment and maybe even watching that battle for a second a little bit too much, allowing them to keep it in the fight. Thunhorst trying to dive bomb it here. Move Kibby about a half a groove up the track. And Kibby actually just got the wall off of 2, Justin.
Will that be the difference for the battle? Not quite yet. Have to consider Shepard has the chance too, Marty, to save tires himself, knowing he doesn't have to battle. There's the battle behind that could burn up these respective tires. Now under 23 to go.
You know, he may be doing that right now, actually. I'm taking a look closely here at the rotors in a turn number 3. Thunhorst actually almost got Shepard there. From my perspective, it's too tough to say. Thunhorst actually just got a teeny bit loose off of turn number 4. But this is good. 3 cars under a blanket for the lead.
Shepard is really starting to back up the corners. Kibby again to the wall. Thunhorst again a little bit deeper on the brakes. Shepard, it almost looks like, wants to force them side by side. Not giving a chance for Thunhorst to go full bore into the corner. Thunhorst still stuck to the inside.
That could be what Shepard is doing, and this is an incredible battle. And you know you're right. He may be saving tires because when you think about Thunhorst using more tires than you'd expect, just turning it to the wheel to the left a little bit more, using a little bit too much virtual grip. And then Kibby's got the drive off of the corner. You know, this could be the chance for Kibby to clear on Thunhorst. Oh, he got the wall. And that's going to allow Thunhorst to stay in the fight. And Thunhorst clears.
So there goes the battle for second. Kibby, for the 3rd time this run, scraping the wall. This time, it's enough for Thunhorst to clear. Now, can Thunhorst get up to J.R. Shepard? That's the big question, coming up to 18 to go. This time by, the top 3 have already ran away by about 1.3 seconds between 1st and 4th.
You know, better drive off there from Thunhorst than Shepard. He is right there, down to a half a car length. Do not be surprised either if the top 2 are battling in the final lap that we get the bump and run.
Shepard really backing up the corner this time. Thunhorst takes the higher arc. Here comes the run for the 8. Shepard again, though, parking on the apex. Not making things easy for the battle for the race lead, trying to match line to line. Coming up to 16 to go this upcoming time by.
He's so much better on the exit than J.R. Shepard is. And I think Shepard just had another good outbreak there on Thunhorst, but Thunhorst has the drive on the exit. Actually, Shepard did this time, actually gained about maybe a quarter of a car length. But Thunhorst is still there. Excuse me. Something I want to mention too, guess who's in 8th? Who has the final invert? James Lowe in the 99. He's back in it.
That's after some issues for Brian Dean and company, who have dropped back from that respective pack. Here is that other respective pack referred to as those who have dropped off the second grouping. Some of them are not having fun. Joe Segala nearly looping it from 13th. Everyone else is fighting side by side for about 10th.
Absolutely. The guys that were involved in that previous caution, Hine, Jewel, and Liston, they're pretty much just trying to ride it on out without blowing their engine. Those Herzog got loose once again. Oh, my. What a save once again. And Segala's going to get him for 12th.
Big moments and big wiggles. Now, Reaper speed lap back machine of Joe Sagawa. The move indeed up to 12. Herzog definitely looks like the right rear tire is about to go off, to say the very least. Speaking of things that could go off, how about the battle for the race lead still? 12 to go this upcoming time by. Shepard, Thunhorse, Kibbe, still bumper to bumper to bumper. 4/10 separate the top three.
It's getting close now. Kibbe is definitely closing on Thunhorse. When I previously checked in on this battle, Shepard had a nice gap on Thunhorse, allowing Kibbe to close on in. But this is getting interesting now. We're coming to 11 laps to go. And right now, the top three are getting to the moment where it's time to take the patient pants off. And I would not be surprised if we saw Thunhorse take some bigger peaks down to the inside, even if Shepard is still clear on Thunhorse.
Keep in mind the patient pants have already fallen off for some in
There
this
it is.
grouping. Low in 7th, but the race lead. Up in the front, Shepard still holds on, but Thunhorse took a peek out of turn 3. Thunhorse with a run out of 4. Will there be the peak in turn 1? No. 10 laps to go. Thunhorse, Shepard, and Kibbe amongst the top 3 drivers as Thunhorse tries to get the run.
It was another good, probably equidistant in terms of the exit. The car length stayed the same. And Kibbe lost a little bit of time to first and second, and no peak for Thunhorse. Ooh, maybe there. Nope, he doesn't.
Thunhorse trying to diamond hard though off the corner, Marty. Looking like Matthew Thunhorse knows his chance is closing in. Another earlier break for Shepard slows up the corner apex for the both.
Everyone's running the defensive line on the low line, not compared to enter high, exit low. They are all going as low as you can, trying to prevent a dive bomb situation from happening. I mean, the only way you can pretty much try and find a pass is by using that bumper or sneaking your bumper into a quarter panel.
Will any of these drivers be willing to do so? Keep in mind, Justin Morton from Total Downforce Racing is closing in from this. 19.8 last time by. The others are running about 20 flats. Morton's gaining about a 10th or 2 per lap, coming up to 6 to go. This could become a 4-car battle from this.
Yeah, Morton's got all the momentum currently right now at the moment, and between him and Kibbe, it is down to half a second. Morton trying to spoil the party and say, boys, I want to join in on a battle for the win. But this is getting good. Thunhorse, I thought he was going to peak once again. Nothing yet, though.
Point of return coming up this time by. Next flag would end the race. 5 to go from Nashville.
There he goes. He's got the run.
Thunhorse has the look. Will Shepard give him the space? Shepard squeezes hard. Thunhorse doesn't back out. Side by side down the backstretch.
Thunhorse outbroke Shepard there in the corner. They nearly touch. That's going to help Shepard. Kibbe's coming too.
Still side by side with 4 to go. Kibbe thought about 3 wide, doesn't take it. Thunhorse gets the nose ahead this time. Trying to clear him by Foley through turns 2. Exit, exit. Now to the corner entry for turn 3. Thunhorse still having a check up.
He scraped the apron, I think, for just a moment. Still getting at the line. Shepard got a tiny bit loose as well. Kibbe trying to look to the bottom. What a drive for Shepard in the corner. And pinches Thunhorse off of 2. It's still Thunhorse with the end. The popsicles come up this time.
Coming up to 2 laps to go. 4 cars all under a blanket. 4/10 separate them. Still side by side for the lead. Popsicle sticks now up in the air. Shepard a little deeper this time. Up onto the middle line goes Kibbe. Kibbe trying to get to the quarter panel of the 8. Thunhorse with a better run down the backstretch. White flag this time by.
Gonna be a good one here. Still side by side. Now what do you do if you're Kenny Kibbe? Do you try and possibly be aggressive to the aid of Thunhorse? They're still side by side. Morton's in the battle. Justin, take it home.
Down to the final lap. Thunhorse and Shepard still side by side. Who will get the run out of turns 3 and 4? Thunhorse tries to keep his foot in it. Shepard tries to give the squeeze. Off the final corner. Side by side. Shepard to the wall. Matthew Thunhorse does not get it. It's Shepard by 4/1000ths of a second.
That was so crazy. I thought it was first Shepard that I thought Thunhorse had the drive off. That is a Kodak moment for the ages. It was by a flare. Wow.
Unreal. Shepard bounced off the wall, and that angle might have actually helped him get this spot. Unreal.
Yeah. The right front's got a better angle compared to the left front to try and help with downforce on these ARCA cars, and I think it just helped him barely. Oh my goodness.
What an incredible start to the season. One of the closest finishes, if not the closest, in series history to start off the brand new campaign, the 9th season of racing action. With that, unbelievable to say the very least. Post-race coverage coming up in just a moment. Watching Virtual Grip Network here from the virtual Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Welcome back to Virtual Grip Network for post-race coverage of the Bootleg Racing League Grand National Series presented by Gargamel's Kitchen. Gargamel's Kitchen is a food-grade nitrous oxide provider located in Denver, Colorado, and a proud sponsor of the Bootleg Racing League. Visit their office at 2045 South Valencia Street and give them a call at 720-707-6178. An incredible finish, to say the very least, to start off the brand new season. 4 1,000ths of a second, Marty, between first and second at the end.
I'm still speechless. How about you? That was incredible of a finish between two guys. This is pretty much like the Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen of the Grand National Series. They did not disappoint. They raced each other clean in 3 and 4, and that's pure respect from the top two. I thought they were going to rub fenders off the corner, and then when Shepard got the wall, that's just in reaction to when coming down on Thunhorse. It wasn't from the bang that got Shepard the win, it was from that little angle, like you said.
A lot to discuss, but with the unofficial race results, it was Shepard with the victory indeed. Thunhorse and Gibby, the top three. Reference separated by 0.155 seconds. Morden, Austin Belkey, the top 5. Lowe, Shane, the top 7, with Tim Chanowski the last inversion spot. Ruben Altise in 9th. Mike Hallway in 10th, Marty. It was intense through much of the field tonight.
Absolutely was. There was great racing all around. There was nothing to be disappointed about in terms of the racing. Wherever you were in the field, you were racing against someone, and it was great to see. Here's a replay from this is from the roof cam of Thunhorse here, Justin. Watch this closely.
It took a bit of gathering, but this is the look at what happened specifically. Watch how close this gets on corner exit to the start and finish.
We've got it in super slow-mo. Shout out Daniel Handover for that. It just looks like at first, right when he crosses the stripe, it's Thunhurst. And then it always comes down to timing. Look how close. Let's look at this. You got to go frame by frame to see how close it was. I wish we could do that, but it was just, I don't know. That's just amazing.
An incredible finish again. 19 drivers started off this season opener. Again, it comes down to one bit of a drag race. We'll take a look at this. One more swing. Yes. Here is back and forth we go. Back and forth they go. To the point where it comes down to that. If the start and finish was a couple feet further, you see how Matthew Thunhorse could have got that. Let's put it
Absolutely. Yeah, it would have been probably from after he got loose and then coming back up. And unfortunately, the start-finish line is where the start-finish line is. And Shepard got the edge. Man, that was still an incredible finish between the top 4 in general. We had 4 drivers battling for this win. I can't think of a better way, Justin, to start off this year.
Once again, race results up on screen. 4/1000 of a second to remind you. Kibbe, Morton, Belke, Lowe, Shane Janowski, the inversion spots. Altice and Hallway, the top 10. Dean Segawa, John Hine, Mark Herzog, Chris Wolfson, Lowell Jewell, Todd Liston, Jason Menda, the drivers who took the greens tonight. An interesting start to the season, but one driver gets the chance to go to victory lane again. For a very illustrious career, it's been J.R. Shepard's type of series to be able to perform in, but tonight may have been the best of the best close finishes. 4/1000 of a second, JR, your reaction?
Crazy finish. Lucky that there wasn't another lap in that race, to be honest with you, and I didn't even realize I had won it until the cool down lap, and everybody told me I thought I'd finished second. So crazy race. I do have to say that Matt ran me extremely clean. He definitely could have shoved me up the track at any point, and he didn't do that. So just appreciate him racing me that way. And I tried to wreck us coming to the finish line. Thankfully, I didn't. I overcorrected to make sure I didn't hit Matt, and I actually got into the wall, and it bounced me back down toward him. So thankfully, I didn't take anybody out there at the end.
It almost looked like, though, at times before that illustrious side-by-side for several laps to close things on out in this one, that you almost wanted Thunhorst and Kibbe to stay side-by-side. Was that the intention, or what was the mindset? Or was it just saving tires?
To be honest, I was saving tires, and I was surprised that those guys were as fast as they were running side-by-side. So once they caught me, I wasn't going to try to pull away and kill the rears, because looking at them after the race, I killed them trying to save them. So this has always been a tough track for me, trying to figure out how to drive it correctly, and I still haven't figured it out. You saw that Kenny was extremely fast today, and Matt was extremely fast also. So, hats off to Kenny, I have to say, because I think he only lost the lead because caution came out while we were side by side. So just got lucky tonight the way the things played out, but I definitely was not the fastest car.
Well, on a positive note, there's a chance to be the fastest car next week out. Hickory is next. Your thoughts going there? Because last season, a chance for drivers to showcase what they can do with the new racetrack, but now it's the second race of 2022 Season 1 for the iRacing circuit for BRL action.
Yeah, Hickory's still a new track to us. A small bull ring for sure, and last year the very bottom of the track's definitely where you wanted to be. If you were on the outside, you didn't have a whole lot to work with. So we'll have to see if we still have that this season going there, and just kind of take what you can get. I'll just be completely honest with everybody. I didn't plan on running this race tonight, and things worked out to where I could. But being able to win at Nashville, this is a track that I've wanted to win at for a very, very long time, because it's so close, and I've raced at this track before in real life on the short track inside. So it's really cool, and if I don't get to race anymore the rest of the season, I'd be all right with that.
On that note, anyone you want to thank for the run tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Just thanks to the Bootleg Racing League for having us, giving us a place to race, and having the group of guys that we had a great turnout last night and the night, which is really good to see. So thank you to Gargamel's Kitchen for what they do with this series, and to my team, Different Path Motorsports. And of course, thank you guys for everything that you're doing on the Virtual Grip Network. We really appreciate you guys.
Once again, that's J.R. Shepard, your winner tonight by 4/1000ths of a second. History in BRL action, to say the very least, with that interval. Matthew Thunhorst started off the season again, another drag race between him and Shepard. Another close finish, Marty. He's with you.
Matthew, I'll start off with this. The moment you came across the start-finish line, I have a feeling you were looking to your right on your iRacing camera. Did you think that you had the win?
Well, I know going into that final lap, I kind of messed up 1 and 2 a little bit, so I knew I was a little bit in trouble, and then I went down 3 and 4, and I gave it a good run, and as soon as I heard wall scraping on my right, I was like, oh, we actually might have a shot, and then at that point, that's when me and JR made contact across the line, and I was busy saving it, and we got into one. I was like, oh, did I get it? And I was like, oh, second. You gotta be kidding me, not again.
When you guys were going side by side, pretty much those final few laps, was it the low line that you really thought you were better in, and then Shepard having the better exit of the corner, considering the banking of what Nashville is like?
Well, I mean, the thing that was making it challenging for me is if you can make that low line work, and I was having a pretty good success with it all night, and it's just, you know, with him and Kenny, they're so good up there, and that high line's always a good defense line, and they were doing well enough to, you know, hold me off down there, and it's just, it's so easy when you're down there just to heat up the tires, and I know my big issue is just kind of overdriving through a little bit, and I know there was once I started skirting up a little bit towards them, and that was my biggest challenge. And so, I mean, the bottom line, if you can get it to work, is good, but when you got a good guy up there on the high side, you know, defending the spot, you got to work on him, and I don't know if Kenny got the wall or not, but whatever happened to him, if I don't think that happened, I would have had to have driven him right up to JR and stayed down there. So, I mean, both lanes of this track are viable, but, you know, it's one of those things when you're a guy trying to pass, you almost wish that high side wasn't so viable.
Finally, who would you like to give shout-outs to tonight?
You know, just BRL and Lowell. You know, I enjoy doing this every Saturday night. Gargamel's Kitchen for sponsoring us. You know, you all at Virtual Grip for bringing the. I can't say we couldn't put on a much better show than this. So I hope you all enjoy bringing it to the fans, and I'm glad we put on a show for y'all. And it's always fun hanging out with Justin and Austin and the team speak. And so just thanks to those folks. And wow. Just what a way to start the season off.
Absolutely. That's what we're all thinking up here. Nice run tonight, Matt. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Marty.
Matthew Thunhorst, our second place finisher. Justin, back to you.
And standing by now is the third place finisher for tonight, Kenny Kibbe, who started off strong, 58 laps led, but in the end, third step of the podium for you tonight, Kenny. Your opinion on what happened as things started to slip back towards the second half of the race?
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, I'm really frustrated just because the race didn't play out our way. I think we had the car to beat through the midpoint of the race. I felt really comfortable. I just didn't need those cautions. But part of that's on me because I didn't do a good job on some of the restarts and also made a mistake that allowed Matt to get past me to get second. But on the other hand, that was so much fun at the end. I'm sure it made good TV. That's what BRL is all about. Those last, 15 laps or so. That was just three guys going at it, racing hard, not wrecking each other. So I had a blast, and I'm still, happy we got a third place. I just can't seem to finish one off here at Nashville.
A very tight into this one, but also curious on this as well, because Shepard talked about how he was struggling to save the tires, with the rears especially. What was that battle with the tires like for you this evening? Because a lot of the race you spent up towards the very front, but for the drivers who finished in front, they spent a lot of time battling.
Yeah, so I noticed in practice that the setup this time I think was a little bit different than the last time we've been here, but also the track temp tonight was really cool. It was less than 70 degrees, and in practice, it took a good 5 laps. You had to completely baby the throttle to prevent any wheel spin, and so I knew it was going to be really touchy. So I tried to be conservative throughout the race on getting on the throttle, because it was so easy to spin tires coming out of the corners. And yeah, I was able to take advantage of my track position and just tried to do the same lap over and over again. And I think in the midway point, their tires started to show their age a little, the guys in second and third, and we were starting to pull away a bit. But this track is still really hard to pass when you're side by side, and Matt and JR are fantastic drivers, and they know how to wheel it even if they don't have the greatest tires. So yeah, I mean, I thought we did much better this year, or this season, saving the tires, than I did last season. But yeah, it was definitely a huge challenge tonight with the weather and the setup.
Next time out, it's Hickory. Again, a newer track for the series. Your opinion on going to that racetrack, knowing its history, but also knowing the unique challenges that circuit can bring for this type of series?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I didn't do so hot there last time. I'm kind of struggling to figure that one out yet, but I don't have any races on it yet. So yeah, we'll go in there and try to keep it clean. It's going to probably be a low line dominant track, and that track's really bumpy like Nashville is, but it's still a completely different beast. So yeah, we'll try to keep her clean and again, save the tires. I need to do a little better at that track again at saving my rear tires, and hopefully we can do that like we did here tonight and come away with a good finish.
Who do you want to thank for the run tonight?
Yeah, just everybody at the Bootleg Racing League for coming together and racing every week. Gargamel's Kitchen for sponsoring the series. You guys at Virtual Grip Network for putting on a good show for everybody to watch. I can't wait to go back and watch this one. And everybody that likes to ride on board with me on Twitch every night for these. These are a lot of fun, and I can't wait until the next one.
Congratulations on the podium finish to start the season, Kenny.
Thank you.
Kenny Kibbe rounding out the top 3 tonight. I thank him, Matthew Thunhorst, J.R. Shepard for taking the time to speak with us. Now, on that note, your closing thoughts, Marty, on how this played out, because a dramatic and sensational and huge way to start off the brand new season for Grand National Series action. We've talked about over the past year or so that photo finish between the two drivers at South Boston. That just topped it tonight, what we've seen this evening.
Absolutely. This is one of the best series, in my opinion, on iRacing when it comes to short track racing outside of street stocks. And this series just puts on one heck of a show. I also took a look at, by the way, and you'll see it right here as they come off of turn number 4. I took a look really closely. I adjusted the cameras. Justin's got it on his Twitter page at Justin P Sports, but it's the right front of the valence that helped out Shepard after he got loose. Pull out in front of the 8 of Thunhorst, just centimeters away from taking the checkered flag. There it is right there. Booyah right there. And I'm excited for what this season's going to be. Normally, the first race of a season, it pretty much shows the outlook of what it's going to look like for the rest of the year. And I think we're going to have a great treat for 2022 Season 1.
I think so as well, especially since the next time the Grand National Series hits the track is the very famous Hickory Motor Speedway, a track with so much history when it comes to the racing world. And now for these drivers, they get the chance to go there once more in the BRL. But the next time Virtual Grip Network hits the airwaves will be Wednesday, January the 12th, 7 p.m. action of Coast to Coast Racing League's Hometown Heroes at Volusia Speedway. Be sure to tune in again on Virtual Grip Network. But with that, it's time to say goodbye after an eventful night to start off Season 9 of the Bootleg Racing League's Grand National Series, presented by Gargamel's Kitchen. For our producer tonight, Daniel Handover. For my co-announcer tonight and Marty Sakawa, my name's Justin Prince. This has been a production of the Virtual Grip Network. Congratulations to J.R. Shepard, your winner from Nashville.